Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 in the loop probability lesson. We've changed the variables to enlightenment chest items and enlightenment items prob, short for probability. So I have my elements for each percentage chance I would like my elements from the items list to be received. So Book of Knowledge is 1/10, which is 10%, Mask of Mystery is 30%, and Prismatic Puddle Jumper is 6/10. All of these adding up to 1.0, so we have a 100% chance that we can get loot here. So what we'd like to do is, instead of just having a loop condition of like k equals 1 or k equals 10 and having to manually count how many times we're getting those items, it'd be really nice to be able to print out how many we actually got. So we're going to remove our loop condition. So we have just two arguments. One argument here and our first argument with enlightenment chest items. Well, let's say we want to open up a bunch of chests. We want to open up 100 chests. So I'm going to have a variable called chest number equals 100. Then we're going to make a for loop for I in range of chest number. So the I is for index. For each time we go through the chest number loop, which is going to be controlled by 100, then we can make some things happen. So we're going to tab this over because it needs to be indented, and we don't need to print out what we've got from the chest every single time. So I'm going to remove that print line. Every time we go into the loop, we're going to reassign the data that's associated with the enlightenment chest reward from random.choices. And if the enlightenment chest reward, I'm going to copy and paste this here, if what was received is equal to the Book of Knowledge, and we're going to do it as a list variable here because that's how we're storing it. Actually, we'll have the square brackets, so we have to put our string here inside of the square brackets. What we're going to do is add 1 with an incremental operator to a variable, and my variable is going to be BOK, which is short for Book of Knowledge. Well, every variable needs to be defined before we can actually reference it. So I'm going to have CO, or not CO, that's from a different project. We'll have mom. His Mask of Mystery is 0, and PPJ will be equal to 0. And these are just some short variable names that I'm going to associate with each of the items in my list. So if it comes up that the Book of Knowledge was selected from random.choices, we're going to add 1 to our Book of Knowledge. And then we can repeat the same structure here and have enlightenment chest reward is equal to, and I'm going to grab Mask of Mystery and bring that down. Then we can do MOM, incremental operator of 1. So I'd like you to pause the video here and try to set up the last condition on your own as a challenge for the prismatic puddle jumper or whatever your third item is. I have my PPJ here. So go ahead and give it a try. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to do that. We're going to use the same structure, and if our enlightenment chest reward is equal to the prismatic puddle jumper, is my third item, then we want to increase the PPJ variable by 1. So every time we go through the loop, each of these will be added up, and then we can print out that information at the end. So after the loop finishes, which we have a control of 100, that's our stop condition, let's print out something like Book of Knowledge total is, and then concatenate our variable. And this needs to be tabbed back over. It needs to be outside of the loop. If it were indented, it would be ran each time we go through the loop, and we don't want that to happen. So I've got my mom there and PPJ. Instead of Book of Knowledge total, this should be Mask of Mystery total and Prismatic Puddle Jumper total is. So these strings will just go with our values when we print them out. Okay, let's go ahead and give it a test. So I ran through the loop 100 times, and Prismatic Puddle Jumper was received 58 times, which is really close to the 6/10, the 60% chance that we assigned it. So when you spread this out over 100 times, you get pretty close to what you would expect it to be. Book of Knowledge was 15 out of 100, so 15% of the loot was actually Book of Knowledge. We set it at a 10% chance, but it ran a little bit more than that. If we were to only do our loop 10 times, we might see data that is, yeah, look at that. So we got 5 Masks of Mystery and 5 Prismatic Puddle Jumpers, but no Book of Knowledge. The more times we run through the loop, the more statistically likely we are to get the loot we expected, but not always. So 60% of 1,000 is 600, and we got 623, so pretty close. Mask of Mystery, we said to be a 30% chance. 30% of 1,000 is 300, so we were really close there. In Book of Knowledge, 10% of 1,000 is 100, and so we got 85. So overall, statistically, we're getting what we would expect. And that is the video for loot probability with printing out your totals for the user to be able to see them. That's a good way to check your data to see if your program is working as expected. If you wanted to go back and add more elements, you can add them here. You just have to make new variables and a new condition to check if it was received from the chest. Hope you found that enjoyable, and we'll see you in the next one.